she do what she wanna do. Lower to the grave, tell you like it is to your face, she don't play. Every chick down for it all, know that she a boss. No competition, no loss. From the Midwest to the A, Autumn got you tuning in, no delay. Ooh, get you right every time. Keep you laughing on a dime. Tell you truth, no lies. So you can live your best life. Cover all topics, no limits. Got some for your mama and your children, no holding back. No gimmicks, coming on strong, get straight to business. Oh yeah. Live what she wanna do. Live life, live life. She live what she wanna do. Live life, live life. She live what she wanna do. Live life, live life. She live what she wanna do. Live life, live life, live life. Live life, live life.
Hey, it's your girl Autumn, and I welcome you back to the Lit Life Podcast, where I encourage you to live your life autonomously. What up? So, we don't even need to talk about it, do we? Like, it's been a couple weeks, but I'm back. Whatever. I have I think I may have said this a few times, but I've decided to like I st- I always plan to put out an episode weekly, but I'm not going to force an episode weekly. So, if I feel like life is lifing or I just can't get in, I'm just not going to force anything. So, don't be alarmed if one week I'm going strong and the next week I'm not. That's all I got to say about it. So, anyways, but I'm here. It's your girl Autumn of the Lit Life Podcast, again, where I encourage you to live your life autonomously. Shout out to everyone that is listening to this episode. Welcome back. If you are a returning listener, like I really have a core group of returning listeners, I believe, because I typically average the same type of numbers, no matter if I've recorded 10 weeks in a row or if I've been off 10 weeks in a row, like I still get those same people to come back and listen. So I really appreciate y'all. And to anybody that's new, welcome. A couple of short, quick announcements, or maybe just one. I started a Twitch channel. So I'm really getting into this whole streaming thing. And again, it's really literally just because it's something that I can just press the button and do. And it's like, I can do it without thinking about it, right? Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the Twitch channel. I have not streamed on there, and actually in recording this episode, I started to just record it, or I started to stream it to there, even though I don't have like any followers or whatever, but just to see how it works. But I decided not to. I'll play around with it sometime, maybe this weekend, and see how I feel about it. But anyways, so yeah, it's Autumn the Aries. Like anything, you can find me anything and anywhere at Autumn the Aries or Lit Life Podcast or litlifepodcast.com. So tell your friends to tell a friend, whatever. And yeah, so that's my thing that I'm exploring. So if you guys have any tips and tricks about Twitch, it seems a little like I don't know. I feel like I get a little anxiety about it. I feel like it's a little overwhelming. There's like so many people on there doing so many cool things, and I don't know what I'm gonna be on there doing other than the same shit I be on tag doing, which is really nothing. So so we gonna see how it works out though. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna just go ahead and get on into it. I think I'm gonna try to make this short. I say that every week, right? I think I'm gonna try to make this short. But yeah, let's get to it. Shut the fuck up. God damn, nigga. All right, it's your favorite part of the show. It's the Shut the Fuck Up Award. And if this is your first time here and this is your first time hearing the Shut the Fuck Up Award, I hope that this is something that keeps you around. Everybody loves it. I love it. And it's really just your chance to tell somebody, a person, a place, a thing, an entity, a group, a whatever, I don't know, to shut the fuck up. Like kind of like I wanted to tell the frogs that just so happened to want to be like having a convention in my front yard last night. I wanted to tell them to shut the fuck up, but I was kind of afraid to open the door and do that. And I also felt like they weren't going to shut the fuck up. Like it had to be like 6 or 7 frogs out there. And I was just, I don't know. I was distraught. But, anyways, you know, a lot of times the shut the fuck up award goes to a politician. It just never, um, it just kind of never fails. It just kind of is what it is. And I, I just I get tired of people trying to find they do anything. Like these politicians do anything to make the other person look bad, right? And when in all actuality ain't none of y'all nigga shit. Like if we really want to put it, if we really want to like really for real want to talk about it, like none of y'all motherfuckers are worth a damn. It's just that some have a little bit more of compassion for everyone than the other set does. It seems like, but anyways, this nigga Vernon Jones. Hey, this nigga. So on, I guess it must have been. Oh, look, it was June 2nd. So it's like the second day of Pride Month, because you guys know that June is Pride Month now. Has been for some years, but whatever. This black man, Republican man, Trump endorsed, okay? He tweeted, "Straight white males deserve a Pride Month." This is a black man tweeting this. Straight white males deserve a Pride Month. The left won't acknowledge it, but that group might just be the most discriminated group in America today. Every time I read it, I feel more and more confused. Because what black man in his right mind would say that straight white men are the most discriminated group in America today? What black nigga, bro? I just went on ahead and directly tweeted back to that nigga and said, if you're trying to gobble the white pipe, just say that and go. Because clearly this has to do with dick in your mouth. It has to, because what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what the fuck? Did you really just fucking say that bullshit? Like, did you really just say some old dumb, ignorant? That's just pure ignorant and fucking stupid and dumb. It's all of those things at the same time. Like, please shut the fuck up. What? A Pride Month? Straight white? What do they need? What? Okay, I'm moving on because y'all know what y'all get what I'm trying to say. I ain't doing nothing but pissing myself off a little bit more because nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you, sir, probably will get the shut the fuck up award of the year because that was the dumbest shit that I have ever heard in my fucking life. Come out of a black man's mouth. Like, nigga, you're not you're not a part of us. You are not, and maybe you haven't been a part of us for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But for me, you are clearly not a part of us. Like, what the fuck type of shit is this? Like, what type of dumb fucking whitewashed, brainwashed type of sounding shit is this? Okay, I'm done talking about it. Let me take a deep breath because fuck him. Like, super fuck him for that. Okay. I just want to take this time to say, first of all, I'm trash because I made 3 years of this podcast at the beginning of May. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there first. And I've been meaning to record this podcast and put it out, and I just didn't. And I'm like, it's not gonna matter. Like, I just don't think it's gonna matter. It doesn't have to be on an exact date. And then I was like, okay, I'll try to get it out before the end of the month. But this is the Lit Life Podcast, guys. This is what I do. I do trash things, right? And I'm a little late. So it is what it is. I'm a little late, but I'm grateful and I'm still turning up because you know what? Y'all niggas is here listening to me or watching me or, retweeting my shit or like gassing me up about my podcast. Like, shout out to all of you guys who keep me going. It's been 3 years. 3 years since the Lit Life Podcast. And lately I've been getting, you guys know, I stream on Tagged, and I've had 3 people in the past week ask me how I started podcasting. So briefly, I'll go through the story. I guess it's a great time to tell the story since I made 3 years a month ago, right? Quickly, 3 years ago or a little over 3 years ago, I was approached by a friend of mine that I think I met Darius on Twitter many, many, many years ago before I moved to Atlanta. Some kind of way we got reconnected. We went to a game night and he asked me to be on a part of his podcast. He said, I have a guest host, but I don't think she really wants to do it. And I think you're dope. I want to do this with you. And I'm like, okay. Well, no, I didn't initially say okay. I had to think about it first, and I had to figure out what the fuck a podcast was because I had no idea, right? So I thought about it, and he asked again before I could, get my answer together. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll try it. So I bought a little plug and play microphone to plug into my little computer and invited Darius over, and we recorded the first episode of Gems and Dro, which is what our podcast was called. It was called something else first. I can't even remember what it was called. Gems and Juice or Juice and Gems. Something I can't remember. It was whatever what he came up with, but somebody had already had the name, so we changed it to Gems and Dro. We recorded 2 podcast episodes together. They were both, especially for like amateur podcasters, they were both like really, really good episodes. They were funny. Everybody listened to them, got a good laugh. I even go back and listen to them every blue moon just to be like, wow, like this was really fun. And then what happened to Darius? He disappeared. I don't fucking know. Like I see him, I talk to him, tweet with him every once in a while on Twitter. He's been saying he wants to get back together, or he, to do the podcast, or he wanted to come and I asked him to come and be a guest on my podcast. He just didn't, he just hasn't. So whatever. But that's how I started podcasting. I loved it so much that when Darius decided to not do the podcast anymore, indirectly, because he never really told me what he was going to do or why he wasn't going to do it or whatever, I decided to make my own podcast. I was like, this is fun. I'll do it by myself. That way I'll have, all creative control and I can do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can record when I want to record. I don't have to wait on anyone. I can, I best move this way in just about anything that I do, right? So that's how the Lit Life Podcast was born. Like, I don't really remember how I picked the name. I don't remember none of that shit. But it's been one hell of a ride. It's been so much fun. I feel like podcasting has impacted my life in a few different ways. It kind of helped me to tap into a whole new world of what podcasting is. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard me say this, but when I was in college at one point in time, because I've had plenty of fucking majors, but one that I was really passionate about was communications. And I wanted to be like a sports broadcaster. That's what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to be a commentator or a broadcaster or a sideline analyst or something like that. That's what I wanted to do. And in college, I was on the radio station, and I had a press pass to go to like all of the sporting events or whatever. And it started out with like the women's basketball. And I would be able to go, and again, like I could sit courtside and I can do like little interviews in the back. And then I would come back on like Sunday. I think the show ran on Sunday, and I had maybe like a 5-minute slot where I would tell, the updates and all the things that happen, the exciting things that happen at the games or whatever. And it was so much fun to do. That made me feel like I had some sort of presence in some sort of media. Like, I think that that's where it all kind of started, right? Well, it started before then, because really, even before I did that, that was at the University of Toledo. Before I did that, I really wanted to go to like an actual like communication school, like a oh God, I can't remember what the name of it was, but there was one in Detroit and there was one in like North Carolina. I can't remember what the name of it was. Anyways, of course none of that ever happened, but I've always like had a thing for this. And so with and knowing that it's not radio, you listen to it, but it's not radio. Like and a podcast can be whatever you want it to be. It could be a talk show. It could be interview driven. It could be about shows that you're watching on TV. It could be about reviews. It could be about whatever the hell you want it to be about, really, right? Like, to be able to do what I want to do and talk about the things that I want to talk about has made has just made an impact on me, like just being able to have a voice. I felt like even outside of this, I have a voice in one way, shape, or form. It may not be like a huge platform, but I'm gonna say what the hell I want to say, regardless if somebody is gonna hear it, right? But in doing this, it gives me a chance to be just be who I am, and like I don't have to like I don't have to I don't like how when you have commentators that are like on TV, they have a certain cadence and in a way that they have to talk. I don't have to do any of that. I can just say nigga and like cuss, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can just say whatever the fuck I want to say on here. So that's what I do, and I'm glad about it. But what I was trying to say was um it's helped me tap into this whole new age um of like the way that we're getting our stories and the way that we're getting our entertainment, and I am a part of that. I'm able to give to people around the world just with the sound of my voice, if this is something that they want to hear, you know what I'm saying? And what I've been telling like people who have been asking me, like I said, when I stream on Tagged, a lot of people ask me about the podcast, and I always tell them like, hey, go to litlifepodcast.com, click on the episodes tab, read through the episodes, and choose one that you feel like you would vibe with. Listen to it. If you don't like it, thanks for the listen. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll enjoy the feedback. Like, whatever it is that you have to say about it. Like, I'm always open to making things better. Or maybe it's just the subjects, or maybe the topics, or maybe you don't like my voice. I don't fucking know. Just let me know. But if you do like it, great. Right? Now you have something to listen to. I'm not asking that you listen to it weekly. I'm not asking that but when you have a few minutes to listen to a podcast, you know what I'm saying? Put the Lit Life podcast on your list, and maybe something will come up that'll be good for you. So I've gotten to do what I want to do as far as bridging the gap. So one of my very early descriptions of the podcast was bridging the gap between like the baby boomers, the Gen Xers, and the millennials, right? Like, because I'm I'm Gen X, but I'm like right on the cusp of millennial. Like I can kind of pick millennial if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But also, like growing up in a house where my sister was 9 years older than me, you know what I'm saying? Like she's Gen X, but she did like, like I can tap into older things as well. So I have been able to kind of bridge the gap, and all of these different generations can listen to me and take something from that. And that's what I wanted to do. So I'm really like proud of myself for being able to do that. I feel like my podcast has something for everyone. At some point in time, I have said something that can touch someone in any of those generations. And I feel like I'm the shit because of that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like right now, when I'm really thinking about it, like I didn't really like I wrote some things down, but I didn't like I never do really think the episode through because I want my reactions and what I say to be genuine and not hella scripted or whatever. But when I'm thinking about it, it's like wow, like I really did that. Like I did what I said I was gonna do, and I think that's pretty cool, right? Um, Something else that I've gotten from doing this podcast is some genuine friendships. And who knew? You know what I mean? Like, who knew that I would meet and even like meet in person some of the dopest people that I've ever met? You know what I mean? That I've ever known and become really good friends with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm of course I'm not, I don't really feel like mentioning everybody, but y'all know who the core group is. You know what I'm saying? My podcast Happy Hour crew, Audrey from Odd Tales, Chris from Shenanigans with Friends, Tamara from Tamara to the Break of Dawn podcast, Jay from Jay's Click 3. Like we really went to a fucking cabin in March of this year, 2022, and had a fucking ball together. And we did exactly what we wanted to do during that time. Like, I've met some dope ass people. And I think that that's a big takeaway from this, right? For me anyway. I really what I really want still is to meet a core group of people in the Atlanta area like that I can, we can podcast with each other. We can, it doesn't even necessarily have to be podcasting. We could, go out, we can go to concerts together. We could do whatever. Like if I can meet that core group of like podcast folks in Atlanta that's around my age, because that's what's been the issue. Like it's always like they're always a lot younger, like the podcasters and stuff. And the events and stuff that they have are like kind of geared towards a younger crowd. And I just don't fit into that. But if I can find some motherfuckers my age around this motherfucker, we can do some shit. Like I'm always a for. But I have formed genuine friendships, and for that I am grateful. And the last thing, like I said, that what podcasting has done for me, and I've already said it about 4 or 5 times, is like I can get on here and I can do what I want to do. I can do what I want to do. I can say what I want to say. I can and just be myself. I can just be myself. I don't have to worry about anything. And when I can get on this mic, I still get a little jitters when I first, like I still have a little anxiety plus pressing record, but once I press record, I just talk and I'm good with it and I love it, which is one reason why, cuz some people, I've had a person ask me like wow, you've taken a long break, are you like not coming back? And I'm always coming back. Even when it seems like I ain't coming back, I'm always gonna come back because first of all, I done spent too much damn money on this equipment. Like that's the first thing. And ready to upgrade my motherfucking roadcaster. So as long as I'm spending money, I'll be here doing this. but it's really been fun. It's really, really been a fun time. One of my most proud moments of this podcast over the past 3 years was the 10 words, 10 episode series. And I think I'm going to tweet out a thread about it maybe the day that this comes out. The 10 words, 10 episode series really helped me to tap into my creative thought process, I guess you can say, when it comes to podcasting. I literally, if you haven't listened to that series, there's a playlist on YouTube, and they're also just on whatever streaming platforms that you listen on. But I wrote down maybe about 20 words, and out of those 20 words, every week I picked a word and I talked about that word. Like, and it could have been the most basic word ever. And I think I'm gonna do it again. Like, I think I'm gonna or maybe do phrases, like 10 phrases, 10 episodes. Like, I'm going to bring that back because it made me really like dig in and do something a little different, right? And I enjoyed it, and my listeners enjoyed it. So I think I'm gonna bring that back. But I think really felt like I made myself proud um when I did that. A couple of my favorite episodes. It's really hard to go through a list of over 100 episodes and choose what your favorites are. And I'm not sure even that I still really have like quote unquote favorites, but what comes to mind, I think is the two most listened to episodes, because Niggas is Nasty, and that's the reason why, because it was 11.1 and 11.2, and it was the episodes about hedonism when I went to Hedon in 2019. But it was dope as fuck because I had two of my best friends there with me. And when we recorded the vibe part of it, like, we were literally sitting outside in the dark by the ocean, and you can like hear the waves and shit. Like, I'm ready to do something like that again. I'm ready to be on location and recording from a nice place, and maybe this time even have some video and doing a little, whatever, like, because it was magical, like, it was amazing, and we just literally sat there and was talking about our experience, and how much fun we were having, and how we loved the sun, and the food was good, and we just talked, and I loved that. Like, it was such a cool episode. Of course, I also loved when I had Chris from Shenanigans with Friends and Michael Keith from the group, the Grammy Award winning group 112. Um, it was fun. It was just fun. It was fun. And honestly, I want Mike back. Like, I'm going to try to reach out to him, and because I want him actually on my Living Your Dream series, because I'm bringing that back as well. So I don't know. Hopefully, y'all keep your fingers crossed. He's a busy man. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get him back, and he can talk about like living his dream as an artist, and in a group that, if you were around in the 90s, like, you knew who this group was, right? Um so yeah, like, those were some of my favorites, and some of my other favorite episodes just kind of were the ones where I got to talk about me and talk about the things that I had gone through, like episode like 19. I think that was the one where I wanted to talk about seasonal depression and loneliness, like how the seasons come around, and if you're by yourself for whatever reason. I recorded that, and then I recorded it again the next year, because the next year it was during the pandemic, and I just felt like people needed to hear that again. Like, people needed to know that you're not alone out here. I've recorded episodes about having anxiety and fighting that. I've recorded episodes about my weight loss goals and struggles, and my Running for Your Life challenge, which one day I hope to bring back. I hope I had the energy to bring that back eventually, because I miss running. So like, it's just been, the Lit Life podcast has really been good to me. And I hope it's been as good to you all as it has been to me. And I just want to give a special shout out again to all my girls from Podcast Happy Hour. I want to give a shout out also to one of my favorite podcasts, if not like, probably, and I I hate to choose favorites, guys, but it's probably the podcast that I listen to the most. And that's the 12 Kyle podcast. I love the 12 Kyle podcast. And let me tell y'all why I love the 12 Kyle podcast. Because every time I listen to the 12 Kyle podcast, I either learn something or I'm laughing because I can relate. Like, his episodes are typically less than 45 minutes. Y'all know my attention span ain't shit. So it's a little easy to sit and listen to 12 Kyle tell his stories, and he has a podcast, and it's just like it's timeless episodes. You'll always be able, kind of like my podcast, you'll always be able to turn on his podcast and listen to it, and it's still going to be relevant in that day and age. So shout out to 12 Kyle for being like a silent inspiration. Like, I don't know if I've ever really told him that, but for being a inspiration for me to keep going. Like, he hasn't missed a week in like years. And he's dropping bonus episodes and video and all types of shit. And it's just like, wow, I want to be that professional. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get on that level. But shout out to him. And shout out to my Sans Alexis. Y'all know Lex. She's been on the show a couple of times. Shout out to her because she, and I've said this before, has played a huge part in me being active, like creating content. I tell the story all the time. She's the one that suggested I do a YouTube channel way back in the day that didn't go down the way that I wanted it to. She cheered me on when I wanted to do the blogs, and then I didn't follow through on that. And then when it came to this podcast shit, she was like, shit, when can I get on there? You know what I'm saying? Like, and she has just been somebody that's really stood behind me and gassed me up when doing this whole podcast thing. So shout out to you, Sans. I love you, and I can't wait to see you next month. So yeah, 3 years in this thing. I'm gonna keep it moving. I got a dope ass episode for y'all next week. Yes, next week, which is Juneteenth. Dope ass episode, so y'all stick around for that. And I'm pretty sure podcast happy hour again will be back soon. Like, no, we ain't break up. No, it ain't no shit like that. We're still being friends. We're still doing our shit behind the scenes, still watching movies, doing all the shit that we've been doing. But I'm gonna get them bitches back on the mic at some point in time. So but yeah, I just wanted to stop. I just wanted to come and say thank you. Thanks for listening. Go back and catch up. If this is your first time, or if it's not your first time and you've missed a couple of episodes, go back and catch up. And I guess until you hear me and see me again, and follow me on Twitch, niggas, and on all my socials, okay? And litlifepodcast.com, and get all your information there. Until you hear me or see me again, peace.